All right, welcome. I'm Brandon Baker, and I'm here with
Alan Eustace.
Okay. Alan, if someone was to Google you, what would they find?
Well, since I work at Google, I think they'd probably find me on the Google pages.
Briefly describe the path that you journeyed to get to where you are today.
So I went to school in Florida at my hometown university. It's now called the University of Central Florida. They had a computer science class. I wasn't a computer science major. I was a mechanical engineering major like my dad before I learned that I'm terrible at thermodynamics, and so I switched to computer science. That was the course that first course I took was in Fortran. I went on to get I love school. I kept staying in until they ran out of degrees, so I eventually got a PhD in computer science. About a year before I graduated, I was giving a paper at a conference in Las Vegas, and I actually was standing in line with two people that I'd never met, John Newkirk and Ron Matthews. By coincidence, I'd actually used some of their software. We spent a lot of time at the conference together. They came to my talk. They were interested in that, so they invited me out to do research at Stanford. So I did. I packed my bags and I went to Stanford for a year. I went back, got my PhD. Meanwhile, they started a company. They invited me to join the company, so I moved to Silicon Valley and started a company. The company didn't do very well, but it did. Those connections led me to a research job, finally a research director job at Digital Equipment Corporation. Eventually, I moved to Google, and I've been there ever since.
So, could you give us some advice that you wish someone could have given you when you were a PhD student?
I loved being a PhD student. I think education is set up beautifully. When you're an undergraduate, you get tons of information. Things are being thrown at you. You don't really have lots of time to think. It's kind of a fire hose mentality, which teaches you a certain set of skills, mostly survival skills. But you get a nice broad exposure. I think graduate school is wonderful because for the first time your course load actually goes down. And you get to think. You actually get to read papers and understand what people were thinking, what the state of the art is in particular areas. You get to finally go deep into a subject. Like about the PhD programs is that then allows you to take the next step, which is, okay, I know what everybody else is doing. What would I do? And it's very interesting to be able to go past what everybody else has done and do something new and different and experience the set of dead ends that you do with the PhD program. So I thought I learned a different thing at each stage of education, and all were very valuable.
So we're here at the Tapia celebration 2009. Would you like to describe your role here at this event?
So I have no role. I was an observer. The reason I'm here is because a couple months ago, Google hosted an event, and Richard Tapia was there. I had heard his name 100 times. He was kind of a hero to me because, people that bring diversity to what I think of as the least diverse, enterprise or, discipline on earth. Mean a lot to me. I spent a lot of time earlier in my career with Anita Borg. I'm on the board of Anita Borg Institute for Women in Technology. So, I pushed and shoved other people out of the way so I could meet Richard Tapia. And he invited me there. I hadn't had a chance to come. And so, I had some surgery actually recently, and I was hoping that my recovery would allow me to get here in time, and it did. So I'm really pleased to be here.
Okay. So we're here celebrating diversity in computing. With your time in the workforce, could you briefly tell us about diversity in industry?
Well, the answer is our industry isn't very diverse. I mean, everybody knows that. Statistics are horrible. Computer science and diversity. All other disciplines over the last 20 years have gotten substantially more diverse. Mathematics, physics, biology, pretty much across the board. Whereas we've stayed, I think, we've probably gotten worse over that period of time. So I think anytime you come to a conference here, it's really for self-examination. Where did we go wrong? What we could do better? So for me, you know, industry has to take a role. Everybody has to take a role. You know, from high school students to why you pick particular disciplines, to stereotypes, to industry's role, college's role, admissions role. How do we make the field more accessible? Are we teaching the right things? You know, there's not just one problem. We have a lot of different problems. But it's encouraging to know that other places have gotten through those. You know, math. Well, why on earth would anybody think math is a better major than computer science? I mean, I have no idea, right? You know, I mean, we do much more interesting things. We solve much more interesting problems. I can't imagine spending all my day, you know, doing mathematics equations instead of solving real problems. But you know, from oh yeah, I'm biased, but but if they can get their ratios up to, you know, nearly 50%, certainly we can.
So you said that it needs to be everyone's role to do what they can to increase diversity in computing. Is Google currently doing anything? Oh,
we do lots of things. I mean, you know, we're involved in, we obviously support the Richard Tapia, the Anita Borg Institute for Women. For women. We've worked with lots of different schools. We've got lots of different programs. We work for the CS for All to try to get help with curriculum issues. We sponsor Jane Margolis. We have programs inside, like mentoring programs, and you name it. We bring lots of different groups into Google, you know, to our. So I mean, there are lots of things that we can do. We have special programs to try to, you know, increase the number of recruiters for diversity. We have lots of programs that try to hit more schools than we would normally do. So we have tons of programs, but in the end, you know, I'm disappointed with, you know, how well we've done, how well everybody's done. And you could blame the pipeline, all the people out there, but you know, I know great people are there.
So we've got a little bit of time left. Is there anything you would like to say particularly?
No, I just, I mean, I love the conference. I love the perspectives. I love the people. When I go to the, you know, say Grace Hopper celebration, I always think to myself that, you know, throughout the whole year I'm disappointed about diversity, and then, you know, I go to a conference with 1,500 women that are doing all these interesting and exciting technical, you know, things, and I think to myself, you know, there's hope for us. There really is hope. You know, there are great people. There are the energy. There are the excitement and things. And you know, when I came here to the Richard Tapia, I get the same feeling. You know, finally I'm in a room that is diverse. Finally I'm in a room where I'm talking to people that, you know, I would not normally talk to. You know, finally I'm getting perspective that I didn't get. You know, finally I learned something about what the backgrounds are of the people. And every time I do that, every time I learn something, every time I get a better understanding, is going to help me, you know, recruit. It's going to help me know who the right people to talk to, and those things are really important. So I look at this as a, you know, as an escape from my regular job. You know, normally I run the engineering organization at Google, but when I come here, you know, I'm back to being a student again and learning new things.
All right. Well, thank you for spending some time with us.
Oh, no problem. Good luck.